Welcome back. This is Nobody Asked Me, but my name is Tanya Nikaki, and I'm going to get into a topic that I know will cause some controversy, but I don't care. And somebody's got to say it. So nobody asked me, but stripping is not an honest living. And before y'all get mad, and you just hear me out, okay? Because I know someone somewhere is rolling their eyes and like clutching their Cash App or something about this whole mess. It's just not an honest living. When we talk about honest livings, we talk about careers or jobs that you can actually like go home and tell like your grandmother or your grandfather about, like, hey, I just got a job at such and such and such, and I'm going to be doing this and I'm going to be doing that. You're not going home to your grandmother, oh granny, and be like, yeah, I just got picked up at Magic City or the Blue Flame or one of these other strip clubs, mini strip clubs that are in Atlanta. You're not going home. You're not bragging about that. Or if you are, something's wrong with you. I said it. If you're bragging about what strip club that you work in, something's wrong with you. You got a whole problem. I have never in my life heard a kid when they be like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I want to be a doctor. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a race car driver. I ain't never heard no girl be like, oh yeah, I want to be a stripper at Magic City. It's ridiculous. And I don't care how many you be like, well, they get money, they do this, they do that. Yeah, I mean, you can get money working at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't have to take your clothes off. I've been to 2 strip clubs. I've been to Magic City, and then I went to a strip club in Pittsburgh. When I worked there, I was traveling on work. And that's it. In 52 years, I've been to 2 strip clubs. I don't frequent them. To be quite honest with you, I was embarrassed. I personally was embarrassed for the women that were stripping in there. We read in all these magazines, these women magazines about, self-image and body image and things like that. And so I can imagine that, 80 or 90% of the women in there feel like there's something wrong with their body, right? My thighs are too big. My stomach sticks out too much. I don't know. My neck's not long enough. I don't know, or one of my eyes is bigger than the other. I don't know, whatever it is. But to be stripping down into nothing, because in Atlanta, they can wear nothing. They don't have to have any clothes on. To be stripping down to nothing in a room full of strangers and then acting like you're enjoying it, and acting like this is like where you want to be, it's no wonder that they have such high rates of drug and alcoholism. You would literally have to be inebriated or high to be in a situation like that. Unless you were like some sort of voyeur and you just like people looking at you when you're naked. But I don't believe that that's the case. And I say, I've said this before. It's fine if that's what you want to do. If you don't want to do that, fine. But what happens when you get old and you don't have a plan? And now you can't, they don't even have you can't even be in there on like the lit nights, like 5, whatever. I don't even know what nights they are, but say it's a Friday, Saturday night, and they got you working a Monday afternoon or Monday morning because you too old and don't nobody want to see your old wrinkled up self up here with some, 5-inch heels on trying to act like you sexy. You got to have a plan. Stripping is not the plan. And so someone's going to throw Cardi B in my face. And somebody's going to throw Meg Thee Stallion in my face. And I'm going to tell you that they are truly an exception. The only reason why Cardi B is a star is because these kids thought she was funny. She was a joke. And somebody said, hey, you can rap. And they put this in front of her and she started doing it. They used to make fun of her teeth. And they would make fun of her, how ghetto she was. She's got a great personality. She is a person that, she's infectious. She's one of those people that you like, oh my gosh, she's so interesting to like, because she's ghetto and weird and goofy. That's the only reason why she's a star. That's the only reason. And Meg Thee Stallion, okay, fine. Y'all want to, whatever. I don't particularly like Marcus. It's not my cup of tea. Marcus the Stallion, not my cup of tea, but whatever. Y'all can do it. The only thing that you get in strip clubs is fantasy. Okay. When in reality, the only thing real in a strip club are the ATM fees. That's it. And the way my husband talks about it, I wouldn't want to go in there. It's like you getting assaulted from the door. You're getting verbally assaulted from the door. You can't even sit and have a drink without somebody telling you, "Oh, you cheap and you this and you broke and you all of that." Who wants to go there and be physically? I mean, verbally assaulted because So I just came in for a drink and some wings. Now I got to give them my whole my car note just to so y'all get off my back. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And again, if you can't come home at Thanksgiving and talk to your family and tell them what you do, you lying about what you do because you're stripping, it's not an honest living. It's not. And I contend that you could find some other way, something else you could do to get some money. Now, granted, will it be fast money? Probably not as fast as you get it at the strip club. But at least you can hold your heads up high and be respectful. And I think that's one of the things that I have a problem with this generation is because they've changed everything. You got Rick Ross, who was a former CO, and now he's like, this famous rapper. Back in my day, anybody who was associated with the police, it was an immediate no. It was an immediate no-go. You weren't having no career after that. And back in my day, girls didn't walk around talking about they worked at the strip club. That was something they said in private or secret. They would do it in secret because they didn't want anybody else to know. And I think that's where we get back when we talk about shame. We've lost shame. They don't have no shame. They don't have no shame. Are you going to sit up here and talk about all the things you got because you took your clothes off? Okay, cool. That's fine. But you know one thing you're not getting my respect. So if that matters to you, forget about it because it's not happening. It's just not happening. But we can hustle and you can do whatever. I got to do what I got to do. But I do what I got to do come with a lot. I don't particularly like that when people be like, "Oh, I'll do anything for," or I got to do what I got to do. Like, what are you talking about? I would almost have more respect for you for selling drugs than for working in a strip club. That sounds crazy, but that's how my mind works. At least I'm not bearing my soul and all of my birthmarks to strangers, some drunk men that are grabby and grubby, probably smell. It probably smells in there. I know it smells. It's got to smell. All them women and everybody ain't clean. No. Mm-mm. And then I want to ask somebody who worked there. So if you guys know, when they throwing all this money up and it's all over the floor, like how y'all splitting that money up? Is it like everybody just scrape up everything and then y'all count it down and then y'all just split it with whoever's on the floor at that time? Or like how do you know what's yours? Because I'm like, don't throw my shit. Just my money. Don't be throwing my money in the air. I need my money in my hand. So anyway, I wish that you would find something else for yourself to do that was better. I hope that you want more for yourself than, laying on your back, trying to get on your feet. It was the guy's name who said that, Charleston White. He said, at least my daughter didn't have to lay on her back to get on her feet. Think about that. All right. Nobody asked me, but thanks for listening. Have a good evening.